you to buy or
is a little social concern in the NFL. I think the media has been very desirous that a black quarterback do well.
It turned into a firestorm.
I'm sure he's not the only one that feels that way, but it's it's somewhat of shocking to actually hear that on national TV.
Even a resignation did not stop the controversy.
If he hadn't resigned, they should have fired him. People hyped it up because he was a black quarterback. I don't see why he should have gotten fired personally. I mean, they pay him to be controversial. That's his whole persona.
I think it's his personal view, and we're allowed to express that.
Sometimes people take things the wrong ways, and it kind of pays to keep your mouth shut.
One thing Rush did not do is apologize.
It was not a racial opinion. It was an opinion about the media.
Well, was it racist or was it not? Joining us now is Dr. Jim Schnell, a professor of political rhetoric at Ohio Dominican College. Thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure.
You've been studying Rush for a lot of years, right?
Sure, I started back in 1990.
And what do you say about his comments? Were they racist?
Well, that's a tough question to answer, in that what I found in doing research on Limbaugh is I have excerpts of these kinds of comments.
Mm-hmm.
I play them back for students, survey their views, and find that it's all over the charts. Different people read them different ways. Oftentimes I find, not only with Limbaugh, that racism is in the eye of the beholder.
This isn't an unusual thing for Rush Limbaugh to really speak bluntly and frankly about what's on his mind. But how about the reaction this time? Were you taken aback at that?
Yes, and I think it had to do with context, because he says similar kinds of things on his radio show. But put him in a more politically neutral environment like ESPN, for him to say the same kind of things in that context, I think that's what caught people's attention. It took me for a while to understand this, because I thought, gosh, in analyzing him, studying him, he says lots of these statements like this frequently, but putting him in that kind of context, I think that's what really rocked the boat.
So you think it's just going to take some time for all of this firestorm to dissipate on him, or what do you think?
Well, I think where this goes, unfortunately, these kind of comments push emotional buttons with us, societally and individually. I think what we miss here as a society is to stand back and look at the logic of what he's saying and ask him, say, Rush, you've made a statement that you've acknowledged to be outside of the mainstream. What evidence do you have? What data do you have to support this? And this is what he does with his callers on air. And if he doesn't have any evidence or any data, then it makes his argument void. It's just not legitimate, and he would know that.
Yeah, he's been hugely popular over the years. You've been studying him for a +10. Why is Rush Limbaugh so popular?
Obviously striking a chord. McNabb says himself in the footage you just had that there's a lot of people that think these things, but nobody really says them. And so the attitudes that Rush conveys, I was surprised here in Columbus when he shows up on a major market, because I'm thinking, gosh, there must be a lot of people that want to hear what he has to say. So I think there's a lot of people who are embracing what he has to say. Some might enjoy him just because he's controversial, but I think there's a market for what he has to say.
And he's sort of the pioneer of this sort of talk radio, wouldn't you say?
Somewhat, oh yes. Very combative, but again, this whole idea of when he presents a view, you could argue with his logic, but he typically substantiates the views. So that's kind of frustrated me about this, is I was hoping somebody like a Larry King or somebody would come out and have him on and say, okay, you made the statement, substantiate it, and then when he can't, then, call it for what it was.
I guess we'll have to stay tuned.
Sure.
Dr. Jim Schnell, Ohio Dominican, thanks for being with us today.
My pleasure.
Andrea.
All right, guys, thanks a lot. Now we want to hear what Mike Davis has to say about the chilly weather, because